Hey everybody, it's Brooks here, First Baptist Church of the Islands. Thank you for taking time to join me for today's 5 for 5. Hey, before I jump into what I want to make mention of in the video for today, let me remind you that if you have not already, be sure to check your inbox if you're part of our church at all, to check out the newsletter. It goes out every Friday via email. And if you haven't got that and would like to receive it, be sure to let us know. You can contact us here at the church. And then also, if you haven't checked it out already, we have a brand new podcast that's out through our church, which is something that all 5 of us as staff pastors are engaged in. It's called Chasing the Rabbit. You can find it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. So check it out. It's about 20 minutes long each episode. They drop every Tuesday. And it's just kind of another hook in the water. You know, it's just another way for us to engage with folks and answer some questions in our current series, Ask God Anything, as well. So we have a little fun along the way, and we hope it's going to be encouraging for you and beneficial at the same time as well. So be sure to pass the word on, and so others can take part in that as well. So a friend of mine, many of you know, his name is Canis. Canis is a part of our church family here, and I've known Canis for years. He and I were having breakfast a couple of weeks ago at a Waffle House, and so we were there at the table and kind of looking over the menu as though we didn't know what they have, and so when we placed our order, our waitress's name was Bernie, and if I remember right, I think Bernie had been working there since 2017 or 18. You know, it says it right there on the name tag, and so we just kind of struck up a little conversation with her, asked her if we could pray for anything for her, you know, as we say the blessing for our meal. And she had a little something for us to pray for. And so what was really cool, though, was later, as she would kind of come back to the table to check on us, she asked us, she said, "So what church do y'all attend?" You know, that struck me a little bit later that for her, it was almost as though when we lived out our faith, at least so far as asking her what we could pray for, the assumption was that we must be part of a local church. In other words, it would have been foreign for her, right? At least it seemed. The concept would have been foreign to her for us to be interested in praying for someone, interested in living out our faith to some degree, and not be engaged in a local church. It was just an expectation. It reminds me of Acts chapter 2, verse 42, with the early believers in the early church. I mean, this is right after 3,000 of them placed their faith in Jesus. In Acts chapter 2, verse 42, it describes those early believers, kind of that early church that was formed. It says they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, and to prayer. It would have been foreign for those early believers to live out their faith and to be separated from their church family. It would have been a foreign concept for them to have come into a relationship with Jesus, a Savior who died so that they could be forgiven and saved and made right with God. It was a foreign concept for them to consider experiencing that and then not be in fellowship in what we would call their local church, kind of that early church. And yet here we are 2,000 years later, and sadly, in many cases, for many Christians, it's nothing. Really nothing. It makes no big difference for them to just totally disconnect from their local church, especially in these days, right? Where it seems as though with everything that we face in our world today, these are the days when we should be binding closer together, not only for encouragement, but also just to be unified in a world that is so fractured. And at the same time, for us to be able to find meaningful fellowship and relationship, and to link arms to push forward with the message of the gospel, because it's as needed as much today as it has ever been in history. So for you, I don't know, I think most of you that watch these videos are probably part of First Baptist of the Islands. If that's the case, how engaged are you here in this church, in this local church? How faithful are you to your fellow church family members? And how obedient are you to the call of God to unite with your other believers, with your other church family members? And if you're not part of a church family, man, why not find a good one soon? Because not only do you need it, but number two, God commands it, and there's no easy way to dance around it. I mean, we're unless there's some extravagant reason, that we're not able to connect. Often the only reason we're not is because we're not walking in obedience. And so I hope this will be important for you today, and that you'll make that step, that next step either being grateful for the church you have or taking that step to engage with the church that God offers you, the church that honors Jesus. So you do that, and God bless you today.